right now on 5 on Your Side at 10.
Tonight, big ballots raising big questions.
It's easier to solve the problem before it becomes a big problem.
We break down what you need to know before casting your vote.
Cooler air has arrived, how long it'll last, plus I'll time out some rain and isolated thunderstorm chances.
But first tonight, heartbreak and uncertainty for a family in Sullivan, Missouri.
I just want it to be closure.
The disturbing discovery in the search for a missing man and the answers his loved ones are still seeking. First, we're following breaking news out of downtown St. Louis. Right now, there's a large police presence near Ballpark Village after reports of a shooting. This is a live look at the scene near 7th and Walnut. That's the north side of Ballpark Village. Right now, we don't know much. We don't know what led to the shooting or if there's anyone hurt. We're working on getting you more information. We will share it with you both on air and on the 5 on Your Side app as soon as we do. Thanks for joining us. I'm Mike Bush. Kelly Jackson is off tonight. Back to another top story. 24 hours ago, Sullivan police issued an endangered person advisory for 63-year-old Dale Ryerson. We've now learned authorities found the remains in the man's burned out car last night west of Potosi, but they've yet to identify those remains. This afternoon, our Robert Townsend spoke to Ryerson's loved ones about the new developments and the man now in custody. Robert.
Mike, Dale Ryerson's family tells me he had a heart of gold. Now, they believe he was helping the suspect when his generosity may have cost him his life. Dale Ryerson's loved ones didn't want their faces shown during our interviews, but they do want you to hear what they have to say about the 63-year-old Sullivan man they loved. This is Ryerson's cousin and his cousin's girlfriend.
He's just a down-to-earth person.
I've never seen him say a cross word to anybody. He'd do anything for anybody if they needed help.
The couple lives a few doors down from Ryerson's home on Jones Street. They say Monday afternoon the retired auto mechanic was outside their home helping to repair another neighbor's motorized scooter.
He sat here in the street talking to us, and then he went home.
But when no one later heard from Ryerson, he and his Jeep Grand Cherokee were reported missing by midnight. Sullivan police say the next day, Washington County Sheriff's deputies responded to a brush fire in a wooded area west of Potosi and found Ryerson's car engulfed in flames.
They called his daughter last night and said they found his Jeep and found remains. That was the only thing I was told.
Right now, the family just wants to know if those remains are their loved ones. Meantime, Wednesday morning, sheriff's deputies arrested a man in connection to the burning vehicle.
We were told that this guy went into his apartment with they thought it was a pipe, they ain't sure what it was, and started beating on him and drug him out to his car and left.
He just helped him out because he was homeless. Well, it's like I lost a brother.
Tonight, the suspect has not been charged, and that's why we are not naming him. He's being held in the Washington County Jail.
Police are searching for a man they say killed his girlfriend, then set her body on fire. Xavion Mills is charged with first-degree murder and armed criminal action for the death of Kaya Holt Biggs. Court documents say Mills was spotted on surveillance cameras driving to the victim's car in a parking lot on Switzer Avenue Saturday night.
Surveillance video appears to show him removing her from a trunk. She was found with a laceration to her neck. And then at some point in time, after leaving her there in the parking lot, Mr. Mills left and returned and then attempted to set the body on fire.
Investigators believe he may have left town. They want anyone who's seen him to call police or Crime Stoppers at 866-371-TIPS. We're learning former St. Louis Circuit Attorney Kim Gardner admitted to misusing more than $5,000 in public funds. The U.S. Department of Justice sentenced Gardner to a pretrial diversion program after signing a plea deal. She admitted to directing her employees to issue her checks from the circuit attorney's contingent fund, which she then used to pay herself back after paying a fine from the Missouri Supreme Court. SLU law professor Anders Walker says Gardner should be happy she's only receiving probation.
The original problem was that the Supreme Court of Missouri fined Gardner for misconduct, failing to reveal or release documents. She should have paid that out of pocket. Instead, she used taxpayer dollars in an account that was for other purposes to pay the fine.
Gardner's attorney, Harvard professor Ronald Sullivan Jr., said his client wanted to spare the court's time and resources by entering into the agreement. He said, quote, while Ms. Gardner was prepared to vigorously defend any allegations that may have been lodged against her, she and the government agreed to end any dispute and terminate any investigation with the pre-charge diversion agreement. Weather impact meteorologist Jim Castillo joins us now with a check of the forecast as we're in the middle of a dry stretch, Jim.
We are. You know, it's been 26 days in a row of a trace of rain or less, and tomorrow will be 27. It's going to be a dry day tomorrow. Tomorrow night after midnight, there is a rain chance, maybe some showers, and a rumble of thunder can't be ruled out, so we may break that streak. We've got to get at least 0.01 in the rain bucket there. It's not going to be a lot. We'll talk about that coming up in Maine weather, but our longest stretch of dry weather, 47 dry days in December of 1955 and into January of 1956. So right now it is clear in downtown St. Louis and 55 degrees, and across all of Missouri and into Illinois. It is a clear night tonight. Lows will be cool. It's 57% on that relative humidity, but tonight's lows will be in the 40s. And then that rain chance, we'll talk about it early Friday. Then it's a warm day, and then we have an average weekend and a dry one coming up. More in just a few minutes.
Within the last hour, Boeing factory workers in the Northwest voted to reject a new contract from the company, continuing a nearly 6-week-long strike. More than 30,000 machinists went on strike last month. Union leaders say the deal included the 35% raise they were seeking. However, it did not restore a pension plan. Boeing reported a more than $6 billion loss for this quarter because of the strike. However, the company's CEO says that's not all they need to address to get the company back on track.
I've said there's no silver bullet. This isn't going to be fixed in one fell swoop. We've got a lot of issues here that we're dealing with. The first thing we've got to do is stabilize the business.
Boeing announced earlier this month they'd lay off 10% of their workforce to save money during the strike. Officials have not told us how that will affect St. Louis workers. Early voting is already underway in Missouri, and thousands of people have already cast their ballot. In St. Louis County, 16,908 people cast their ballot today, and in St. Louis City, they had 3,659 people vote early. We want to make sure you're prepared when you get to the voting booth. 5 on your side's Laura Barczewski is in studio to talk about the proposed Amendment 7. Laura?
Mike, Amendment 7 would change some of the language regarding U.S. citizens and voting in Missouri's Constitution, and would also ban what's called ranked choice voting in places that already don't have it.
Missouri Amendment 7 is a proposed constitutional amendment recommended by the state legislature that, if passed by voters, would change the Missouri Constitution to say only citizens of the United States are entitled to vote at all elections by the people. Right now, our Constitution says all citizens of the United States. Becky Arps with Americans for Citizen Voting supports the amendment.
Our state constitution protects the rights of United States citizens. It does not say that we can't allow other people to vote. Our state statute protects the rights of U.S. citizens. Doesn't say that you can't give that right to somebody else. And so by doing this, we're making sure that it's solid.
The Republican nominee for Secretary of State, Senator Denny Hoskins, says other states have identified issues.
You know, the state of Texas, they just audited their voter rolls and found 1 million ineligible voters on their voter rolls, including 6,500 non-citizens.
The Democratic nominee for Missouri Attorney General, Eli Gross, believes the amendment is unnecessary.
Maybe some other states have a problem. We in Missouri do not. And our local election authorities are pretty darn good.
Amendment 7 would also ban ranked choice voting in places that have not already adopted it. St. Louis already allows approval voting for municipal elections. For example, if you like candidate A the most, but also like candidates B and C, you can list all three and all votes will carry the same weight. Larry Bradley with Better Ballot KC opposes the amendment.
If you read the language on Amendment 7, they say that a plurality winner is okay. Wait a minute. We need majority winners. And this process, this ballot won't give it to us. Ranked choice voting will.
Arp says she questions if there would actually be a true majority with ranked choice voting.
I don't know that it's necessarily a true majority, and I don't know that people will feel that their vote necessarily counts, and I don't think they're going to understand.
The election is less than 2 weeks away, but again, the polls are open for early voters, and you can check the wait times in St. Louis County. We'll have a link to that on KSDK.com.
And for more information about what's on the November ballot, you can check out our voter guide at KSDK.com or just text the word guide to 314-425-5355 and we'll send you a link. And join us for election night analysis and results on November 5th. You can watch live on 5 Plus from 6 to 11. You can also text plus to 314-425-5355 for a link to download the 5 Plus app. It's free on your Amazon Fire, Roku, or Apple TV. A local school district is giving teachers a new way to request help during an emergency. Belleville teachers can now summon instant help during emergencies with the press of a button, thanks to a newly approved security system that connects their ID badges directly to first responders. The badges will be used to keep all 4,800 students safe at Belleville East, West, and the vocational center known as the Cave. Leadership approved the technology after learning it saved lives during the Appalachia High School shooting in Georgia.
This is one of those situations where, unfortunately, when you have a very tragic incident and you begin to hear feedback about what went correctly, this was one of the pieces that was determined to save people's lives.
The district hopes to have the system up and running within the next month. A man who served decades behind bars before being exonerated is making big strides. Lamar Johnson got a job last week through the Urban League Save Our Sons program. The program helps black men find jobs. Johnson went through a 4-week job placement program to gain skills and training, and we're told he wanted a job where he can be active. That's why he applied for the Delwood Public Works Department.
For him, it was like, look, I can't be picky right now. I want to get back to it. I want to get my life back in order. And for us, it's really understanding what is it. Are you good with your hands? Do you want to be behind a desk? You want to be in front of a computer? And he wanted to do something with his hands. He wanted to be active, and he wanted to do something in a capacity, hopefully, that can help others.
Right now, Johnson is suing St. Louis City, seeking unspecified damages for being convicted 30 years ago.
Medical mystery is keeping families in the dark.
You would just know, whereas we just constantly had to live with the unknown.
The group stepping in to help those suffering from unexplained symptoms. A woman's terminal illness not stopping her from living life to its fullest.
I'm not going to live like I'm dying. It ain't happening.
Her last wish coming true tonight.
Temperatures have cooled down, but that won't last long, and I'm tracking when to expect some rain and isolated thunderstorms.
You know something is wrong with your child. The MRIs and the blood work are abnormal. You've been to countless doctors, but no one can tell you what's wrong. There is now a path forward for those suffering from unexplained symptoms. 5 on your side's Ann Allred explains.
And I just got that one.
Telling the story of Mitchell Herndon starts in the KSDK archives.
Slow it down, big step.
In this news story from 2014, Mitchell was just 13 years old and starting to lose his gross motor skills.
Which number goes where?
Doctors couldn't figure out what was wrong.
265.
And Mitchell didn't have a diagnosis.
They were saying like, oh, maybe this is just a fluke immune system thing and he's gonna just be fine.
But Mitchell wasn't fine. He only got worse. Over the next 5 years, the illness would take his ability to walk, his eyesight, and his hearing.
So this was July 2012.
His mother, a pediatric nurse, kept track of countless doctor's visits and medical tests.
We have so many audiology reports.
But no one could diagnose Mitchell.
There's MRIs.
And the illness remained a mystery.
If he had been diagnosed with something like a Friedreich's ataxia or a muscular dystrophy, where we would have patient data to say your life expectancy might be this, like even if it was going to be short, you would just know. Whereas we just constantly had to live with the unknown.
In 2017, the Herndons found the Undiagnosed Disease Network at Baylor College of Medicine in Houston. Doctors found a genetic variant in Mitchell. On a hunch, they put that variant in bugs to test it.
They took that variant and they put it into fruit flies and created Mitchell fruit flies. And through that study, they found that the flies couldn't fly, they had a reduced lifespan.
After years with no answer, they had found the cause of Mitchell's symptoms. But it was the first time doctors discovered this genetic variant, and so there was no treatment. Shortly after, Mitchell passed away at the age of 19. Today, answers for undiagnosed patients are closer to home.
46 different chromosomes.
Washington University is now a site for the Undiagnosed Disease Network.
Got to about the age of 8, and her hair started to fall out.
And Mitchell's mother is working with the UDN, helping families on a similar journey.
Because we know these stories are very lengthy and complicated.
On this day, local families are learning about genetic testing and resources.
We have doctors and scientists who are able to crack the most difficult medical cases.
In Mitchell's case, doctors ended up finding a few other people around the world with the same disease. And a year after his death, researchers named it Mitchell syndrome.
He was hardly able to stand at all.
The Afton teen that never stopped searching for answers.
This is our website.
And his mother, dedicated to families living in the unknown.
During Mitchell's long journey, I felt alone. Without a diagnosis, you don't have that community, and we want to make sure that no one else feels that way.
Then there's another set of genes.
Families desperate to solve their symptoms, now finding hope right here in St. Louis. I'm Ann Allred, 5 on your side.
Now to a live look at Enterprise Center, where country artist Jelly Roll is wrapping up his concert and making one fan's wish come true. Edwardsville native Keita Miller got the chance to meet her favorite singer tonight. Doctors diagnosed her with small cell lung cancer in 2022 and gave her only 3 months to live. She listened to Jelly Roll's songs on repeat while going through chemotherapy. The James Best Foundation made the meet and greet between the two possible. Miller says the artist's struggles and his positivity have been an inspiration.
What he's been through, for a man to do that and come through, and him and his wife are so supportive of each other, that's what this world needs. It's just what this world needs. And it's sad that people don't get it.
Tonight, by the way, was Miller's first ever concert. Weather impact meteorologist Jim Castillo rejoins us now with that weather impact forecast.
All right, Mike. Well, following that, it is a beautiful night and a fantastic night for anybody downtown, for weather-wise at least, and it's clear. So we have good weather. Earlier we had some clouds pushing through, and look at that, some rain up to the north. As soon as it got here, it dissipated, kind of fizzled out. High pressure keeping us cool tonight. In fact, kind of chilly up to the north, Springfield, Illinois to Kirksville, Missouri, already in the 30s, but St. Louis at about 55. Now lows tonight outside of St. Louis in the upper 30s, and then right in the city about 44, and a north wind very light tonight, southeast tomorrow, so it switches a little bit, 5 to 10 miles an hour. Still a dry day and highs in the 70s, so really nice. Now our chance of rain comes with this system right here. Warm front moves our way, so clouds increase very late tomorrow, so plenty of dry time tomorrow, and also lots of sunshine. 3 a.m. Friday, so after midnight tomorrow night, a shower or thunderstorm chance even into Friday morning's commute. And it has been so dry all month, a trace of rain only. Watch out for those slick roadways when we get a few of those showers in here, with probably some measurable rainfall, but no more than 1/4 inch of rain. Here's that rain potential. Looks like lesser amount south, but Interstate 70 north, we could see 1/4 inch, and I also hear those rumbles of thunder in there. Not expecting severe weather, but wouldn't be surprised if we get a couple of maybe some hail coming out of some of those storms. So low pressure tracks through here Friday. And look what happens for the weekend forecast. Near average, 68 Saturday, 69 on Sunday, and it's partly to mostly sunny. 7-day forecast after that cooler weekend, but really a little bit above average still. We're going to take those temperatures and push them up into the 70s on Monday. It gets breezy, gusty on Tuesday, 82, and on Wednesday, 83 degrees, and a chance of rain by Halloween. We could use it.
We have new information now on that breaking news of a shooting near Ballpark Village that we first told you about at the top of this newscast. St. Louis police now tell us that a man was shot during an attempted carjacking on Market Street. He then drove 1 block over to 7th and Walnut That's in front of Ballpark Village. We're told the victim then taken to the hospital. We still don't have any word on his injuries, and we do know that police have not taken anyone into custody yet. Let's go to sports and Corey.
Well, all eyes are on the Mizzou football injury report for Saturday. The Blues are facing some early season adversity, and City SC met the media to wrap up an underwhelming 2024 season. Stick around, sports is up next.
This 5 on Your Side Sports Report is sponsored by Telly Tire and Auto Centers, driving your way since 1942.
Well, it usually takes a miracle for a road team to win a football game in Tuscaloosa. The Crimson Tide have only lost twice at home since 2019. Mizzou is going to need all the help they can get to win on Saturday. However, they may be without some of their most important pieces. The biggest name on the injury report is, of course, quarterback Brady Cook. He went from the hospital to homecoming hero to beat Auburn, but is officially doubtful on the first injury report of the week released tonight. Running back Nate Noel and receiver Mookie Cooper are also doubtful, with Noel expected to be out. As for Brady, his teammates know if there's a way for him to play in this game, he's going to take it.
I feel like he just really showed everybody what I already knew. I've been knew he was a dog, so I was glad to see him, come out there and overcome a huge challenge.
College soccer action tonight. SLU men at number 13 Missouri State. Tense game in Springfield. Bears nearly get on the board late in the second half, but Jeremy Avenell is able to deny that shot. That kept things scoreless. Another close call later, but Mo State can't chip it in. SLU goes down to Springfield, comes home with a 0-0 draw against the number 13 Bears. The Blues are facing their biggest challenge of the young season so far. Arguably their best player is sidelined for an extended period of time, and the rest of the team will have to step up. Blues forward Robert Thomas fractured his ankle while blocking a shot in Tuesday night's loss to the Winnipeg Jets. He has been placed on injured reserve and will be reevaluated in 6 weeks. Forward Oscar Sundquist was activated from injured reserve and will be among the players expected to step up with the talented Thomas sidelined.
There's a lot of guys in there capable of doing different things, and it's going to be a team effort. You can't make up for the player, but as a group, we can make up for it, and that's the end part. It's not going to be an individual player. It's not going to be one player. It's going to be the 20 guys that are in the lineup, pulling in the same direction and coming together as a team.
This 5 on Your Side St. Louis City SC coverage is sponsored by Together Credit Union.
It was time to close the door on the 2024 St. Louis City SC season today. We heard from all the big names for the club from this season and those who figure to be big contributors in 2025. We'll wait and see if interim head coach John Hackworth gets the full-time job. Here he is describing the turnaround he saw take place over the course of this season.
There were some issues in the locker room for sure, and we had to make some really hard changes before I was interim. That said, I really like our locker room now. I like the environment. I think the future for this club right now is really bright. And that's, I think, because a group of staff and players and front office people all worked really hard to try to make it that way and fix the problems that we were having.
We had some Battlehawks in town today. Head coach Anthony Becht and tight end Jake Sutherland checked out the improvements at the Dome. As the team assembles its roster for 2025, our Frank Cusimano asked Coach about the possibility of St. Louis native and former Mizzou star Cody Schrader joining the team. Schrader is currently with the Rams, but the Battlehawks own his UFL rights.
Obviously, I want what's best for him, and what's best for him is to be in the NFL, right? Because he deserves that. He's that good of a player. But we definitely took a roll of the dice. If for some reason it doesn't work out, he's a stud. He's had an outstanding career at Mizzou. Watched a lot of his football, a lot of his games. He was a big part of why that team got off the ground running last year. And man, if we can get him on this field at some point one day, that'd be great.
Obviously, like Coach said, want to see Cody succeed in the NFL. But I'd love to see him in a Battlehawks uniform.
Yeah, that would be a lot of fun, but I'm sure he would like to stay where he is.
How about we do both?
Rams.
Get in the NFL, come home for a little bit.
All right, coming up, the snack that smiles back gets a temporary rebrand. The big change coming to Goldfish crackers. Stuck between a rock and another rock. This Australian woman got stuck upside down for 7 hours after dropping her phone between the rocks and trying to get it back. First responders got her out uninjured. However, she could not get her phone back. Goldfish crackers are going through a rebrand. The smiling snack will now be called Chilean Sea Bass for a limited time. Pepperidge Farms say they hope the name will help attract some more adult customers. So if you want the new bag, you need to act fast. They'll only be available for 1 week. And we have one final check of the weather with Jim.
All right, it's clear tonight and lows in the 40s, some 30s in the colder spots. Tomorrow it's a sunny day, but there is a chance of rain late tomorrow night after midnight.
And then going into the 80s on the weekend, right? Or
Well,
next week.
Next week. Yeah. 60s this weekend.
And there you have it, 5 on your side at 10. We're always streaming on 5+. Start your day with Today in St. Louis beginning at 4 a.m. and have a great tomorrow.